Recording is on, so let's see. Okay, so yesterday we saw a secure shell. It's nothing but going from one box to another box, okay? So next thing I'm going to show you is when you go from one box to another box, it's asking you for the password, right? So if you want to go into a bunch of boxes, but it's not very good idea that you type in okay, here. So you type in SSH, the IP address or the host name, and then you hit enter, and it's automatically taking you in there as a root, okay? And then you put in a password, whatever the password is. So let me exit out of it. But what I want to do now is I want to do that, but I don't want to put each and every time, I don't want to put the password in. Okay, so if you have multiple hosts going in there every time, I mean, it gets tedious and redundant that you have to put in the password so many times. So to avoid that, what's going to happen is we'll use passwordless. So since once the user is authenticated, you don't need to put in the password each time because you are an admin and you go in there without a password because once you log into the Bastion host, you have already been verified. Once you go in here to the jumps box here, from here to here, you are verified that you have to put in a password and everything. Then from here to here, you don't need to put in the password because you have been verified over here. Okay, so what is it called? It's called passwordless. So there is a process. It needs to be set up only once, then you could go in and out without any problems here. So you do SSH passwordless. Okay. So how are we gonna do that? I'll show you how. Okay. So it's pretty easy. Okay, so we have one box on the top, and I type IP address. So clearly the IP address is different here than compared to IP address over here. So that confirms that these are two different boxes here. Okay, so let me clear this. Okay, so for you to be able to do this, you have to be logged in as root initially, but you could also create this for the user also. It's a similar process. You could practice that on your own, but I'm going to show you how to do it as a root. Okay, so the command is SSH-keygen. When you type this command, it will come up with this message here. It says enter the file in which you want to save the key. So it is going to save in here root/root because this is where you are right now. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna show you on another box here, but this is where it is. Then let's do ls-a, and then what it's gonna do is it's gonna create a hidden folder .ssh, and then at the same time it's gonna create another file that says id_rsa. Okay, So it will do this for you. Okay, but the default file it's creating is id underscore RSA. Okay, so over here you don't need to. I mean, if you are working and with the other admins over here, either you may or may not put in the may or may not put in the file name. Even if you give a file name, it will save it with your file name you give in this folder here. Okay, so I'm gonna just hit enter here, and it's asking you to enter a paraphrase. So we're gonna skip that here, and then we're gonna hit enter also, and then since we enter it blank, it's asking you to enter the paraphrase again. Okay, but blank is also considered a paraphrase, so we just hit enter again. So what happened here is a random image key is generated by the system here. Okay, so where is that key generated here? It's generated in here, in this folder. Okay, let's go in there and take a look. All right, can you go on mute, please, if you just joined in? Okay. So let me go into CD. Then it's a hidden folder. Then SSH. Then let me do ls here. Okay, ls-l. So what happened is it just created a RSA ID. Okay, it just created here a moment ago this ID and this ID. So it created two IDs here. One is a RS ID and one is a same RS ID that public. So this is a public ID and this is a private ID. Okay, so let's cat it and see what we see in here. Okay, so what you see in here is a alphanumeric key. Okay, this is a very long key it creates. The system is generating this long key here. And you could tell just by looking at the key is that this is going to be a unique key for this system to be accessed. Okay, and it could be only one key in the world. There can be more than one same key anywhere else created by this system here. Okay, all right, so let's do ls-l again, and then let's take a look at this. Okay, so this is another key created by the system, and it's called a RSA public key. So there is, when you do SSH, I put it in here. I forgot to show you yesterday that okay, I think I found a picture. I found this picture online, which is very good here. So what is happening here is when you connecting from one server to another server, there is authentication happening here. So what is happening? Very first thing is the connection is being established. One box is going to connect to the another box and establishing the connection. And then what this one does is it will send it the public key. So it will send the public key. It will send this key to the requesting box. Okay. And then what happens is then there is a negotiation established. Okay. Then this box will ask for the password. I'm sorry, the box on the right will ask for the password. Okay. If the password matches, then what will happen is the connection is established. Okay, but what we're doing is we are circumventing the number 4, and what we're going to do is we're going to copy this long authentication key to the requesting server. That way When it responds with this key number here, and it won't ask you for the password. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so you type SSH Key Gen, and the two RSA files will be generated. One is private key, and another one is public key. Okay, example. Okay, so in the location will be whatever you define, but the default location is the user folder /.ssh. Okay, this is where it's going to create the file here. So what key is going to create? This is going to create key like this, private, and then it's going to create another key.pub, which is a public key. Okay, okay, good. So what we need to do now is we need to copy this public key. We need to copy this public key into this folder here. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Okay, you could use the utility called SCP. Okay, all right, so let's see here. Okay, well, there is no other way to avoid showing this here, because SCP is also its own topic here, but I'm going to formally show you later on. But at this moment, just what we're going to do is we're going to just use the SCP command to copy the file from one folder to another, one server to another server. Okay, all right, how are we going to do that? Okay, the command is SCP, and then what are you copying it? You're copying it ID underscore RSA underscore dot public. Okay, we're copying this public key, and then where are we copying it to? We are copying it to this server here. What is the IP address for this server? Okay, so this is the IP address for this server here. Okay, and it's telling you which folder you want to copy it to. Okay, so at this moment we're going to copy it to the temp folder here. I mean, if you're going to connect as a root, you could literally copy to root folder also. Okay, so let's copy it to root. You have to give a colon and then the root folder. Okay, all right, good. If I hit enter, it will ask you for the password. Okay, let's go into the box here and let's do ls. Okay, that public key is not here. Let me just remove this folder from here. That way there is no confusion. I am doing ls-l. There is nothing here, okay? So I'm going to copy there and hit enter. Oh, I have to give the password. And I hit enter here. Okay? If I do ls, the file is being copied here. So the file is there. But then what we have to do is we have to physically create a hidden folder. Okay? So how are we going to do that? We're going to do mkdir.ssh. If we type .ssh, what is going to happen? Can somebody tell me anything that starts with dot? What kind of file is that or folder is that?
Hidden.
All right, very good. Thank you. Who said that?
Mother.
Okay, Mazhar bhai, you're ready for the new job. So.
Thank you.
Yeah. So side chat me please this week, and you and Ajaz. I think both of you are ready, so I'll get you going.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, then let me clear this here. Then ls. I want to copy this file into the folder we just created. So what is the command?
What do we want to do? Copy?
Yeah.
CP?
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do cp and then this command. And then where I want to copy it to? I want to copy it to the folder. I want to copy it to this folder here, but I want to rename the. But I want to copy the content of that file to the file name _keys. Okay. So can somebody verify the command I put in here is correct, and when I hit enter, what exactly will happen? Actually, it's not right. Okay. What will happen when I do cat? Cat is reading the file here. Okay. But what I'm gonna do is I'm reading the file, but I'm redirecting the output of that file to the new file name called authorized.keys. Okay. Okay, so I have to bring this to the other side. So the command was wrong. Okay, I'm sorry. Here, .ssh/. Okay. Okay, so I don't know why it copied here, because I think when I type this here, it has already generated this file here. So the correct command is this is the correct command. Okay. Okay. All right. So Now, okay, then we are running these commands here. Let me give a space here. Okay, SSH Key Gen. Source host, and this is a destination host. Okay. So we copied there, and then from there we're gonna run the command. We're gonna run this command here, and then it will create the key. Then let's do ls, and we'll do cat authorized, and you see this public key here. So this should be the same exact alphanumeric number here, and this number should be same exact alphanumeric number here. We didn't do anything, all we did is cat it out. Okay, so cd2.ssh and verify the key. This will make okay. Now what I'm gonna do is over here, so from here to here I'm gonna jump here, but it shouldn't ask me for the password here. Okay, okay, so what is the IP address for 107 here? So what we're gonna do is SSH and then hit enter, and it shouldn't ask for the password, and it didn't ask us a password. So right now we were in 106. From 106 we connected to 107 here. How are you gonna see? How are you gonna verify? Either you see the host name or you see the IP address. If you look previously, our IP address was 106. Now we are on 107 here. Okay. Any questions? So it's only one way, because the key is on from the source to destination here. What if we want to connect from here to here? So it will ask you for the password here. So let's do SSH. So I show yes, and it's going to ask for the password. So you have to do the same exact thing. You have to do the same exact thing to connect to the other host. You have to create a SSH key gen. You have to run these commands here again. This becomes a source and this becomes a destination. Okay. All right. Any questions? All right. So the next thing is SCP. Okay, I think there is one more method how to do this SSH. Mm, I don't see anything new in here. Let me go into one more place. All right, nothing here. I'm trying to find out what is RSS stands for. I know uh, it's the name of a public key company or something. Okay.
RSA or RSS?
No, RSA. It's the name of a company, right? Isn't it?
Yeah. It's just a company who provide all the tokens and authentications, basically.
Yeah, but this is way before the name company is there. Oh, okay. Oh, so they've been there for a while then.
Yeah. For a while.
So RSA is the name of a company, but this is as if had become a generic term that it's been used as RSA. So even if it's not generated by a company named RSA, if you say among your peers, do you have a RSA key? That means it's a authentication key. Okay, all right, good. So I'm gonna just put it in here.
So it was named after his founder, basically.
Oh, really? What's his name?
His name was Ron Rivest, Adi Shamir, and Lenny Edelman.
Oh,
So three people.
I never knew that. Oh, right, these guys here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So sometimes it surprised me. Some of these technologies we are even using now, they are rooted like 10, more than 40, 50 years ago. And you wonder, I mean, all these things exist back then. And it kind of surprises me a lot because they do exist. I mean, a lot of things are there for a while here. We're just using it a lot more now. Okay, good. That's a good information here. So you guys know what this RSS stands for. It's actually initials for these three guys. And so it creates the RSA key, and based on this, their scientific breakthrough, the key is it creates a cryptographic key. That's what it's called as. So it cannot be broken into. Okay, good. Let's move on. And let's worry about what SCP is. SCP is a, a very simple built-in utility that you're going to use quite often. Okay, and it's built in here. When you type which SCP, if it will tell you if that utility or the program is there or not. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to show this officially here. We have something to copy from one place to another place, okay? Usually what happens here is when you're working with the network team, they will ask you to give some kind of output like a TCP dump or something, or you're working with some another group, and they will ask you to give the output because you won't have any. I mean, the other group, they don't have a root access. So most of the time, some of the files that can be read needs a root access. So like cat etc, cat var slash log messages. So there is a message just files in here that logs the system files here, and this file, it generates a lot of information here, but other group, they cannot read it. So if they are troubleshooting something and they would ask you to give the output for this file, what you do is you go in here and then you create another name, file name, messages, and you give it like today's name, date. Okay, and then you're creating that over here. Okay, hmm, okay, I didn't like that. So we have this file. We have this file here, and we want to copy this file from this host to another host here. Okay, so it's pretty simple here. How you gonna do that? You're gonna use the command SCP, stands for secure copy, and then the name of the file. So this is the file, and then where do you want to copy? Okay, usually you could also give the username at, then you could give the IP address here. Since you're going to be an admin and you know the destination server will ask you for the password, what you'll do is you just find out the IP address of the destination host. Okay, and then you type colon, and after that you could put it anywhere you want. You could put it in temp folder, or you could put it in a home folder, or whatever. The most of the time you put it in temp folder, because people who are not admins, they also have access to temp folder. So let me just remove what's in here for demo purpose, and it's nothing is in here, right? So what you do is you copy that file from here to there, and you just simply hit enter. And what will happen is you have the file in here. So things like this, you don't put it in the email and email them as attachment. Okay, don't do that, because you don't know if the user is really authorized to look at the messages or not. Okay, so it may have some sensitive information also. So what you want to do is, once you have done this, you just send an email to the person who is requesting it and tell them that you put this file into this location. I just email them that the requested file is in temp location. That's it. He will get the message. All right. Okay, so now I want to copy the directory here. How am I going to do that? Okay, let's create a directory. Okay, let me create 1,000 files in here. So I have 1,000 files here, which are secret files. So I'm going to copy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the similar command. Okay. And then I'm going to hit enter. So why am I getting this message here?
It's just a folder and I have multiple files inside.
Yep. So how are you going to do that then?
-R.
Very good. Who said that?
Amir.
All right, guy, man. Call me during weekday, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so I mean, if you're not aware how to copy the directory, it's in here, in the cp command. Move, rename, cd, okay, clear, touch cp command here, okay? Copying the folder with the content. Okay, you could just use R here, but force, verbose, permissive, preserve permissions. Okay, you don't really need all that here. I mean, use your judgment. Okay, they will tell you they will tell you if you are locking that up, it will preserve the permissions here. But if not, then it will take the permissions of the folder. So the permissions is, oh, okay, you know what? I'm going to hold off on the permissions here because it's not a good time to show this. So you type scp-r, and then this is the directory name, and then you're copying to this server from your local host to a remote server, and you're copying it to the temp directory here. Just for demo purpose, I'm going to copy it to mnt. Okay, so you could literally copy anywhere you want. Okay. So the folder secret is there. Okay, and you could go in there. Okay, let's take a look at the permissions here. Okay. Okay, the folder permissions are read, write, execute, read, write, execute. Okay, so it's keeping the permissions of the folder, which is our default permissions for this folder here. So we'll worry about that later here, okay? Don't worry about this now. So let me put this in here. Okay, which one is this? This one. Okay, and sometimes you could also copy it at the same time. You could do a lot of other things here. You could do a lot of other things that comes with the command line. So you could run this command, and then you could copy in that you're copying to the temp folder, and then at the same time you are copying. You want to create a folder at the same time. Okay, how are you going to do that? You're going to give the name. You're going to give the name request ID, and then you're copying that folder into this folder here. So this folder here, request ID, doesn't exist here. Okay, so once you hit it, what it's going to do is it's going to create this folder at the same, then it's going to dump this folder in there. Okay, all right. Okay, so it created a folder request ID, then you go in there, then there you go. It copied the content of that folder into a folder name something else. So you get a request here that the other team is asking you to copy all the content into the following folder, so that's what you do it. Okay, all right, that's easy. Okay, all right, so there is another concept called SFTP. Okay, what is SFTP? SFTP is SSH file transfer protocol. Okay, so what is this is, in this scenario, you're giving access to the to the end user, to the users, but they don't have to have the root password available for them. Okay. So how are you going to do that? Okay. So what you have to do is you have to install uh, an application here. So you have to be online for you to be able to do it. Okay, so the application is yum install open SSH that server. So what is the use case for this? The use case is for the other teams to copy data back and forth. Okay, so what will happen here is you could okay. So let me go ahead and create a user here, okay, because I have to show you this is usually used by a user. So user add Zafar. This is another topic in itself. So I don't and okay. So in here, the regular users, they are logged in, and then they are logged in as users here, right? So who am I? And it's telling Zafar here. So this one is set up as a server, and this is not set up as a server here. Most of the time, there is a folder set up by the group so that they could have the file saved in one place here. Okay. So how you gonna connect to this server here? It's pretty simple. So you just get the IP address here, and let me just clear it. So the user from here connects to here, okay, and it doesn't have, the user won't have full access there. Okay, let's do it here. Um, it connects there as Zafar at. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, I think I'm missing one step here. So netstat -enp. Some of these things I'm not explaining you now because there is no use at this moment here, but there are others. It's a full subject in itself, so I have to do that as a different topic. Okay, so what I have to do here is I have to start the service. I have to start the service. And the service name is SSHD status. Okay, start. Okay. So what you're gonna do here is you connect as this here, Zafar, at from here to here. You connect from this server to this server, and you hit enter. So you connect from here to over there, but remember it didn't ask you for the RSA key or anything like that. It just has connected there because you're connecting there as a user on this server here. Okay, because there is a user on this server. Um, okay, so there is a user on this server that's named Zafar, and that user has to exist on this server here for the user Zafar to connect it. Okay, let's see if we could try something else. Zafar 1, it probably won't because that user doesn't exist. Okay, even if you put in the password, it's not going to allow you to do that. It's pretty simple. Okay. All right. Anybody has any questions? Let me know right now if this is not clear. Okay, so setting up the SFTP server. Okay, and from the host. Yum SSTP. Okay, good. All right, this is pretty simple here. So we looked at the secure copy. We looked at passwordless, how to connect passwordless. Passwordless for the usually this is good for root admin, and this is SCP just simply copying the file and folder from one server to another server here. Okay. You could also, I think, play around and see if you could put in the destination host to more than one destination host and see if it's going to work for you. Okay. Okay, good. So we covered STP, SFTP, and let me see if we could cover VSFTP. Okay, so there is one more concept called VSFTP. Okay, what is that? VSFTP stands for Very Secure FTP. I think you all heard about FTP, right? File Transfer Control Protocol. Windows has one too.
Yep.
Yeah, so good. Thank you.
There's another one which is normally confused with the SFTP, which is FTPS.
FTPS, yeah. But in here, it has VSFTP. It stands for Very Secure File Transport Protocol. I'm thinking if I covered this now or later.
There's a very crucial match going on, Zafar, as a
What? What match?
cricket match. India versus Pakistan.
So everybody wins,
World Cup.
right? We have everybody from that place, so everybody wins.
Yep.
Okay, so let's see here. Okay, yeah. Let me cover this here. Next week, I'm going to cover what is yum here because you keep saying yum this, yum that. We keep doing this here. I think the time has came to show what yum is, but that would be next week here. But I will continue on without yum here. So let's do it here. So what I'm doing here is I'm setting up a server here. Okay. Setting up a VSFTP server. Okay, and you have to follow exactly what it is. So you have to install, you have to have an internet connection, or you have to have a yum repository locally. So, but I'll show you next time here. Okay, yum install, and then the protocol is VSFTP D. That's the name of a software. What is going to happen is it's going to go on to the internet and download it here. Okay, here you could do -y to avoid asking you the question if you really want to do it or not. Okay, hit enter. Okay, so which VSFTP? Okay, so it has installed the VSFTP server, the service here. Okay, what you have to do now is you have to do chconfig. So what we're doing here is chconfig is nothing but you are telling the system to restart the server when the system boots up. So it's similar like startup here. So you could go in here and see, you could see enable and disable some startup in here. So what I'm doing here is we are enabling the chconfig to start up the server when the system boots. Okay, so I type on. chk. Okay, yeah. It looks the same here. VST. Okay, I was missing something. Okay, and you have to start the service. Service VSF TPD start. Check the status first. It's not started, so all you have to do is start. And then check the status again. So VSF TPD is running right now. Okay, and VSFTP runs on port 21. So let's see here, netstat -ANP all network ports, grep, and look for port 21. Okay, -W. Okay, so the port 21 is on and it's in a listening mode. Okay, and there is some kind of security built into the Linux. It's called SC Linux. So I'm going to go over that in a much deeper level here, but at this moment I'm just telling you briefly that SC Linux stands for Secure Enhanced Linux, something like that. But I'm going to go ahead and disable that for now. Okay, set enforce 0. Okay, then get enforce. So it's permissive here. It was enforcing, that means the system was restrictive. Now it's permissive. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and disable the firewall. Disable the firewall. Okay, so how am I going to do that? Service IP tables. IP tables is referred to as firewall in the Linux system.
Only in 6, right? So in 7, they brought firewall.
7 is same thing too.
I think in 7 they introduced the firewall instead of IP tables.
Let's take a look here. Okay, so I have to use the system CTO. Okay, yeah. In 7, it is used as firewall D. Okay, in 6, it is. I'm going to go over firewall a little bit also, but there is no way to avoid talking about this at this moment here. So, but I'm going to see here. I'm going to disable the firewall. And don't worry about firewall too much, because what will happen is, in the real world scenario, you will not be dealing with SE Linux, and you will not be dealing with firewall. Actually, even a production environment, the firewall is disabled. The firewall is maintained on a network level. Okay, so there is a headache for network people, because the reason the firewall is disabled on each and every box is it will cause problems here, and then it is not very manageable for you to be able to open one port for each system, and then close the different port for different system here. So you would have been dealing with tens of thousands of servers. So it gets very complicated. So to offset that, it's being managed on the network layer. Network has a software and hardware firewalls that the network team have to worry about.
Also, but Zafar, it is not a daily thing. In order to even open a port or even disable, there's a change request required, and it need to go through the approval, and then it will open.
No, if the firewall is disabled, and if you're opening the port, if you're installing the software which is authorized, and if the software automatically opens the port for it, then it's okay. And if the software is blocking the port, then you have to open the change request with the
Okay.
security team. And yeah, all these things, you won't be doing Linux. You will be doing Linux only 60% of the time, and you'll be dealing with other stuff another 40% of the time. Sending email, dealing with the change management, dealing with the other team. You all do all that only 40% of the time. But if you have some kind of transition going on or something, you would barely do your work 30 to 40%, and you will be dealing with the other stuff a lot more. Okay, this firewall is stopped. Okay, firewall is not running, which is not a very, it doesn't look, which is very good at this moment here, but it doesn't look very good in front of security. But you don't have to worry about it, because firewall, as I mentioned, is maintained on the network layer. Okay, all right, good. Let me copy the steps I've done so far. Okay, and then start the service. Okay, check for the open port. VSFTP runs on port 21. What is being run on port 22?
SSH.
Very good. Is it Amir?
Yeah.
All right, man. Okay, and disable SE Linux. Okay, you just get enforce, and if it's enforced, then set enforce to 0. Okay, then disable firewall. Okay, so you check the service, disable firewall, and service IP table stop. For Red Hat Linux 7, the command is status. So I'm going to leave this on this side here, but if you're setting up this on it just stop. Okay, it will stop the firewall on it. Okay, now what you have to do is you have to go check the configuration file there. Okay, so let's go into the folder cd etc. So I told you before, etc folder holds all the configuration files of the system. Right here, the etc holds the configuration. It contains the system configuration file. Okay, so you will be going in and out of etc file folder a lot. Okay, and then the folder is vstpd. Okay, you go in there and you do ls. Okay, anything that that ends with .conf is a configuration file. Okay, so I'm going to do it from the root here, that way you could know. Okay, so this is the configuration file here. Okay, and now what you have to do is you have to usually you work on this file here. Usually you work on this file as a team. Okay, and make sure all these things are usually documented into the SOP. What is SOP? Standard operating procedures. So whatever I'm creating all these documents here, these are called SOPs. Okay, so you could put on resume that you know how to create the SOPs. All right, so what you have to do is you have to check here local is enabled. Okay, so what is this stands for? Local enable underscore. Yes, that means this is for the local user ID connecting from the client. So it's telling the system that the local user ID connecting from the client, it's okay to connect. Okay, all right, so what will happen is next is write enable. So it will, the connected user is able to read and write. Okay, and local umask. Okay, so it's we'll go over what umask is later. So this is set to 022. Okay, and anonymous upload, we are not worried about that here. Okay, so let's go and look for anonymous make directory write permissions. We are not worried. Did I ever say that what is it if you have a pound sign in front of the line? If you have a pound sign in front of the line, it's commented out. That means the system is unable to read it. You could put down whatever you want in here. You cannot read. The system will not read it. Okay. So we will learn a lot more when we are gonna do scripting. Okay, dir directory message enable. Yes, we want to keep that. Okay, and we want to keep this too. And connect port underscore 20. If somebody want to connect using port 20, you could do that too. Okay, listen. What is this? Transfer log standard format. Yes. Yes. Listen. Okay, listen is set to yes, so we're not doing any changes. Okay. And last three, yes, yes, and VSFTPD. Yes. Okay, so we didn't make any changes, but I'm going to put down in the document that what we have done here, okay? Okay, all right, all this looks good to me here. Okay, so let's test it and see if it's going to work here. So let's get the IP address. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this into the browser. I'm going to put this into the browser. What I'm going to type here? Good. See, this is the default directory here, and users are able to go into the browser without even it's asking or prompting for the password here. So let's see if you could do this here too. In the Windows, you type this and hit enter, and you are able to set up a VSFTP here as a Windows user. And what directory is that? It's a public directory here. I think okay. Public cd slash Okay, so this is the directory it's using. So let me create a bunch of files in here. Okay, so let me refresh this. Okay, so we have a bunch of files in here, okay? All right, I think most of the FTP setup which is out there or you could find it's running on Linux here. I'm not sure about the Windows, but this is what it's. If you're using FTP, if you're using a FTP to upload or download files, this is how it works. And I'm pretty sure those those online services like OneDrive. What is the other one out there? There are like a couple more out there, right? I know OneDrive is out there, and
OneDrive is Google Drive.
yeah, Google, and there is one more, the popular one. Which one is that?
Dropbox.
Yeah, Dropbox. Yep. See, you could see all those things which are giving you pretty good service at a very low rate. They're all using Linux here, okay? So you could now imagine all those things which are running in the background, they all run on Linux. And I will guarantee you that Apple is using nothing but Red Hat for all their what do they have? What is it called? The Apple thing? iCloud, right?
iCloud.
Yeah, yeah. That it's running all this here. It's pretty simple for us, but this is what is exactly they're doing in the background. Just the simple FTP. They do some kind of authentication, this and that, and all those things go and sit in the server, and all the all the different teams are managing those things. And EMC is big. If everything, anything and everything is saving you to the online drive, most of the everything is being saved on EMC, which is owned by Dell, I think. I don't even know if is it Dell. Anybody can confirm here? I think it's Dell. I don't know. EMC. Yeah, it's Dell. Yep. Big market share is EMC has a big market share. This is what you have in the data center, rows and rows of servers and rows and rows of storage. I think you should type storage here. Yeah, Dell EMC storage. Okay, this one.
EMC is a big player in SAN and
Yeah,
competing with the IBM, etc.
yeah. I don't even know what IBM is using it. All the places I've been, EMC is there.
They're
I know
relatively
about
cheaper.
Pure also. Huh? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They're relatively cheaper or much cheaper than IBM. So
Yeah. IBM, you have to have like IBM equipment, I think. For this one too, you have to have a Dell equipment. But anyway, let's continue on. And so you could see that this is how it is there here. So you are connecting as an anonymous here. Okay, but we're going to set up on the client side. There is also a server set up on the client side that you could have some read and write access also. Okay. So this is the client server here. There is one more bullet point here. Okay, I'll just put this one here, clear this up, and then put it in one so that you could have a reference later on. Okay, good. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to move on to the client side. Okay, so let's see here. Let me exit here. I'm logged in as root, so I'm going to install yum install FTP. Okay, on this server, I think I'm not online. Yeah, I'm not online here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to enable the internet on this. I have to shut it down. 107, right? Not sure why it's not connecting. Okay, now it was just taking time. So we have an internet connection here. So I'm going to quickly install yum install FTP. Okay, if you want, you could set this up and have a static IP from Comcast, and then you could connect it remotely. You could definitely do this 100%. If you don't trust any of those online backup for your things, you could do that. Yeah, I suppose you don't have to get the static IP. You use the IP you got from Comcast, and then you can set it up. You just have to only worry about it, when it's the IP changes.
Or there are free DNS servers available, Zafar. DDDNS is one of them, and if we want to use that, then we don't. They manage the dynamic address as well.
Okay. Yeah,
But IP
you,
address which we receive from Comcast, it doesn't change often.
yeah,
Yeah.
Comcast charge was like $10 every month or $12, something like that. So you can save like about $120 a year.
Yeah, for static IP, yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. So we installed the FTP here. Okay, and let's go ahead and see if the FTP is there. We could try it in a browser. Okay, so let's see here. We could put this in browser and see if it's going to work.
You installed the FTP, but did you enable the FTP? I mean, the
Oh
storage?
no, yeah. I'm sorry. Okay. So let's see here if I could do FTP from here. Okay. So is asking root. So what you type in here is you type the regular username Zafar and the password. Now, do you see something in here?
Yeah. The SSH, they get changed to FTP.
Exactly. Very good. So the regular user who is using the server, he won't be able to run. Um, he won't be able to run the commands here. He won't be able to run even the regular commands here. Is going to be only the FTP commands here. So I think we are running out of time here. Mm. There are only few commands that the user is going to be able to run here. So
It would be only change directory,
yeah,
put and get and rename, etc. So these are the all
yeah, yeah.
after connection. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't use it because the other users use it. So all I do is set it up or just troubleshoot it. Most of the time, you won't be doing a doing anything. You would be doing this in the start of the business. Okay, then after that, you once it goes into the production mode, you won't be doing all this here. This is what we did so far is the engineering work. So let's see. I think you could get. What I'll do is I'll compile the commands here and I'll put it in here that what is it that the commands this user is able to get it here. So I think we have here about 500 files here. So you type get and just type one here. Can you do ls? Or no, the user have to change the directory here. So I think the user has access to this directory. cd okay, directory is successfully changed. Okay, then the user is only able to do ls here. There is a lot of things the user can do it. And get f is the name of the file one here. So the user is able to get the file downloaded to their own directory here. So let me exit and so it's not going to be in this folder here. It's going to be in cd home Zafar.
Oh, it's right there, Zafar bhai. It says what?
This one? No, it copied here. Copied from the remote.
On the bottom.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, my old eyes.
I got 4 eyes, that's why.
Okay, here, let's do it. You switch from Zafar. So whatever you logged in as, it will put you in that directory here, okay? So what is the command? The command is FTP and then the IP address. Okay, so it's already connecting as Zafar, so let me just hit enter and the password is Red Hat and get asterisk. I'm gonna get 500 files here. Oh no, I have to change it to the folder here. cd slash what is the folder? var slash ftp slash public. Okay, you could definitely change this public folder where you want it to be. Okay, in the real world scenario, it's not this one. It is usually a LAN or it is usually a network file system that is in there. Okay. All right. So let's do ls. So we have all these files here. Then get. We're gonna get all the files here. Hit enter. I think there are different commands here to get all the files.
It's MGET survey. MGET. MGET.
MGET, right? To get multiple. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
MGET is to get multiple files. Oh God.
There's a switch for that to ignore that as well. It's not in top of my head, but there's a switch to you can ignore all those things. Otherwise, you have to enter one by one.
Oh, I'm stuck now. Oh God.
What if you know? Just
I think
continue with
Control Z
MCAT.
or something like that. You can just
Control C is not working.
Control Z. Z.
Oh, Control Z. Okay, thank you. Oh, it actually kicked me out. Okay, so you get the idea, right? Get 10 or 100. Oh no, I have to change it to.
You can change or you can qualify basically. You can either way. You can say get slash where whatever.
Yeah. Get 100. Okay, so exit. So I do ls here, and these are the files. Type get 100, then I got the file 100 here. So usually this is set up as a dumb terminal for the end users to copy and move the files back and forth here for FTP, because you don't even want to give them any chance of for them to be able to run any other commands other than FTP commands. Okay. So next week I'm gonna show you how to set up an anonymous and a couple more things into the configuration. That way we'll be done with the VSFTP. Okay, so let me history, and then we install something, right? Okay, so install as FTP, and then you could do the FTP to the host. Okay, so service FTP. Okay, this is 7, so it may not. So you have to type systemctl status ftp.service. Okay. So it's just FTP, right? Okay, whatever it is. So you could install that, and after that you just do the history. If you follow the document, you shouldn't have any problem. You shouldn't have any problem connecting or going through the setup here. But I'll throw in some. If you could, Mazhar, if you find that the commands is, just send it to me, like 4 or 5. Then I'll just put it in the document.
Okay.
Okay, so I think I got in here. Then follow the FTP only commands. Okay. All right, so I'll work on this document, and then I will upload the recording a little later. Okay, guys, if you are practicing it, I like how you or some of you put in the questions in the chat. Please do that rest of the week. Okay.
All right. Zafar.
Okay. All right. We'll see you guys later.
Thank you.
Allah Hafiz.